If that means guzzling a bottle of olive oil every morning, go for it. You do whatever you need to do. Join us on Patreon to support our channel and the work we do to help people, animals, and the planet.
You'll get rewards like ebooks, one-on-one Skype calls, and online coaching discounts.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So today's video is in response to a question we received on Tumblr, and we did answer this question on Tumblr, but we were thinking about it and we're like, no, this needs to be talked about a little bit more. We want more detail. So the question is,
do you respect all vegans, even if they are not high carb, low fat / raw till 4? I am vegan and always will be, but I eat a normal vegan diet with vegan burgers and chips and cereal, etc. Okay, very good question. Do we respect all vegans? Of course we do. You know, once you've made the decision to no longer contribute to the suffering of animals, respect, absolutely. You've taken the blinders off. Fantastic.
Even if it's not raw till 4, well, we're not raw till 4 at the moment, so yeah, that's fine. Now, in terms of high carb, low fat, this is important, and we wanted to focus on what this person was saying. I eat a normal vegan diet.
What they mean by that is they basically eat the vegan version of the standard Western diet, which is a high fat diet and includes lots of processed foods. We don't advocate that.
No, we don't. Well, there's a clause to that.
There is.
There are as many ways to eat vegan as there are to eat non-vegan. And you should be eating whatever version of a vegan diet is going to make sure you are vegan 100% for the rest of your life. If that means guzzling a bottle of olive oil every morning, go for it. You do whatever you need to do. If that means eating, things that look and taste like buffalo wings and cheese, you do whatever you have to do to stay vegan.
Having said that, if the education is available that a high carb, low fat, predominantly whole foods vegan diet is shown to lower the risk of all, chronic illnesses and diseases and all cause mortality, why wouldn't you choose that?
And we do eat vegan burgers. We enjoy them very much. We do have chips, but they're not deep fried. They're baked in the oven. And we do have cereal. Back in that cupboard is some Weet Bix and muesli.
But it doesn't constitute the majority of our diet. The majority of our diet, we like to center around whole plant foods when we can, because they're healthier options and they are the normal human food.
Yeah, it's what the trees drop down to us and the earth pushes up. It's what Mother Nature gave us. And, we love these brands, but Tofurkey and Daiya cheese are not from Mother Nature, okay? They are wonderful to help people transition to a vegan diet and stay vegan. Fine, eat them. But that's not necessarily normal. It's normal because, a lot of vegans eat that way and that makes it normal, but it doesn't mean that it's normal to our bodies. It doesn't make it healthy.
What we want to stress in this video is that eating high carb, low fat is not a fad diet. It's not something that Freely and Harley have just plucked out of the air. It's supported by the scientific evidence. And leading plant-based doctors all promote a low-fat vegan diet that's centered predominantly around whole foods.
And Mother Nature actually tells us exactly what to eat. If you look at the majority of whole foods, the breakup is roughly 80-10-10 of the macronutrients. That is around 80% carbohydrates, 10% protein, and 10% fats.
Aside from certain overt fats like nuts, seeds, avocados, coconuts, and durian fruit, the majority of whole plant foods fall into that 80-10-10 ratio.
Yeah, so that gives us a really good idea of what we're supposed to be eating, what our bodies are naturally designed to consume, and you can go all the way to 15%, even 20% fat, but you want to keep it within that range, So what happens when you eat more fat than that? What happens as a vegan? We have our own personal experience of this because we were not always high carb and low fat. We were doing quite the opposite.
Absolutely. We were, chocking in the nuts, seeds, avocados, coconuts, and we were also having oil. Now, oil is, one of the worst, and we'll get to that in a moment. But our health problems were as bad as they were, when we were non-vegan, eating meat, dairy, and eggs, because that high fat was inflammatory in our bodies, and it was causing things like asthma, candida, poor digestion.
Constipation, fatigue, we didn't have any fitness. We were in a terrible, terrible state. So the two people that you see sitting here right now and all the fitness that we're doing and how wonderful we're feeling did not exist on a vegan diet that was high fat. It only existed, it only started to develop on high carb, low fat. Now, oil, not negotiable.
Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn is one of the world's leading heart specialists, and he has great success in preventing and reversing heart disease.
So what he has to say about oil is something we should probably listen to, right?
Absolutely.
No oil, fish, fowl, meat, or dairy. No oil. No oil. Let's just take a moment here because some people still are not clear about the fact, no oil. Dr. Vogel has gone on and shown us indeed that olive oil activates clotting factor 7 just as much as butter.
It's not at all infrequent that I end up treating vegans for heart disease. Vegans eat oil. Vegans eat French fries. Vegans eat glazed donuts. And all those things are going to rip the endothelial cells to shreds. And I encourage patients, if they want to have ground up flaxseed meal, a tablespoon on their cereal for their omega-3, or chia seeds. I've had several patients where they came in and they were very sophisticated. They were eating beautifully. The food, none of the foods was a problem except one thing. They were just they had somehow the mistaken belief that olive oil was so important. They were pouring it on their salads. They were preparing their food with it. At lunch, they did the same thing again at supper. I had one patient really was worrying about having to have his second bypass because he couldn't get rid of his chest pain. I couldn't find anything else to change. And finally, I found out about his oil, stopped the oil, and immediately within 7 weeks, all of his chest pain had disappeared. It was the only thing that we could stop.
So oil is not a whole plant food. Doesn't matter whether it's coconut oil, flax oil, olive oil, doesn't matter. It's 100% calories from fat, and no food in nature is just 100% of one macronutrient.
So that really lets us know that we're not supposed to consume it. Now, having a little bit of oil every now and again, of course, is not going to give you heart disease, it's not going to kill you, but it's just not optimal. So it's really important when you are in control of your food, of your diet, when you're cooking at home, to make sure that you don't include it. What you do the majority of the time is going to determine your health. Of course, going out every now and again is totally fine, and indulging in different vegan foods, no problem. But when you have the choice and the chance to control it, you should be sticking to predominantly whole foods.
So our own personal example supports the science, and here's another one of popular vegan YouTubers Nina and Randa, who were born vegan and ate predominantly whole foods the majority of their lives. Look what happened when they went on vacation and ate high fat, even just for a short period.
Even a little bit of excess fat in your diet, even if it's only a little bit, can affect your skin when your hormones are going crazy. So we did eat stuff like hummus or avocado, peanut butter, soy milk, and even a little bit for us really took a toll for the worst. One of our biggest acne outbreaks was actually when we were traveling in London and Paris. We weren't really eating the things we usually ate at home because we didn't really know how to find stuff. We were eating vegan, but it was all filled with oil and kind of more processed than we're used to. Even what Dr. McDougall said on his website about acne and excess fats made complete sense to us. So we tried it. Within 3 days, we had no new breakouts. It was just a matter of healing up the scars, and it was a miracle. It was the first thing that actually worked. I will never...
That is quite amazing, really. And we actually have another person that we can think of back in Melbourne, a friend of ours who is vegan, has been vegan for many years, is not overweight at all. But he developed type 2 diabetes on a high-fat vegan diet. That's incredible. He's managing it now because he went straight over to Dr. Neil Barnard's program, which is high-carb and low-fat. But the fact that you can develop type 2 diabetes, which is food and lifestyle related, on a high-fat vegan diet, For us, I mean, that's a real wake-up call.
Absolutely.
You know,
So we have this responsibility to share this information with our audience because it's better for their health, but it's also in the animal's best interest long term. Because, for example, if Nina and Randa had, sought a pharmaceutical solution to their acne, like, Accutane, well, that's been tested on animals and would have gone against their vegan ethics. So we're trying to stop or prevent vegans ending up needing pharmaceuticals, all of which have been tested on animals.
and some may even contain animal products.
Absolutely include nuts, seeds and avocados as part of your predominantly whole foods vegan diet. You just want to make sure that you're probably not eating more than 20% of your total daily calories from overt fats like those sources.
Yeah, and you'll go with your experience. Personally for us, we don't have any nuts and seeds anymore. We overdosed on those for many years. Avocados, rarely do we have them. We just don't feel like them anymore. Go with your experience. You might only want to have them, 10% of your calories. You might want 15. You might go all the way to 20. It depends on what you're doing, what your exercise is,
And
what kind of...
exactly. As long as it's supporting your health and fitness goals.
Absolutely. If you're getting the results that you want, go for it. But if your asthma comes back, or your candida comes back, or your constipation comes back, or any of those things that we were suffering with, you might want to think about reducing them. That's what worked for us. So to wrap this video up, what we really want to emphasize is that there is nothing strange, bizarre, fringe, difficult, weird, new, fad-like, whatever about eating a high-carb, low-fat diet. That is our normal, natural diet. That's what Mother Nature gave us.
Exactly. Grains, legumes, vegetables, fruits, they're all low fat. It's an indication from Mother Nature that's what we're supposed to eat.
So when you're out and when you have a higher fat meal, no problem, enjoy it. And of course, there's always healthier options to make. So you don't have to go for the
Deep fried spring rolls. You could get the fresh spring rolls, for example. You don't have to go for the deep fried potato fries. You could get, the boiled potatoes or whatever.
yeah, or baked potatoes, or just something that's a little bit healthier. So there's always better options to make, but don't stress about it. This is not about creating an orthorexic mindset where you're fearing fats and where you're too afraid to eat out and you're really just going crazy. That's not it at all. That's all from us, guys. Now it's time to hear from you. Please comment down below with your thoughts and your experiences on this topic. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
And remember, going vegan is not the most we can do.
It is the least we can do. See you next video.
Bye, guys. So we thought we'd end the year with a bang and get back on the booze. It's been 6 years since we had alcohol, and we thought, what better time than now to get back on the bottle? So,
Pretty good.
bottoms up though.
Yeah.
Real good.
Good liquor.
That is the hardcore shit.